Are you on weed? Give me some. I'll smoke you two under the table.
The Joint Report is brought to us by Death Row Inmate Calendars. Their days are numbered.
Oh my god.
It's a calendar.
Wait, are you talking?
Wow. Okay. All right. So that's how it's gonna be. All right.
You need to bring that A game.
What the fuck show you think you're on right now, bro? What the fuck?
I want to be entertained.
Dance, monkey. Dance. Jesus. All right. Well, for today's Joint Report, fucking guys, I want to talk about what are the best bong cleaners out there for glass, ceramic, whatever the fuck that it is that you use. Stone, if you're still into that. Some people still use wood pipes. A lot of these new bong cleaners, I think the technology has come a long way in the last couple decades, I think, where they've made some environmentally friendly, non-toxic bong cleaners that have really, they can do it all. So the one that I currently use is the Formula 420 original cleaner. Can't go wrong with that. Environmentally friendly, non-toxic, but you know, it's a little stinky. But if you want to do it the old school way, which is still somewhat effective, is using just rubbing alcohol and coarse salt. Do you find yourself using that, or what do you use, Ollie, for your bongs and pipes and stuff?
I was the worst at that.
You didn't clean anything.
I'm not a cleaner. No.
You just threw it out and bought a new one.
That
not even
just until it was just you just clean it, like you just scrape it
and then smoke what you scrape. You're that guy. You're fucking fiending over here, dude.
Recycle, reduce, reuse, bro.
Okay, well, shut me up. I would call it thrifty.
But no, yeah, usually they would break. So.
Okay. Yeah, you know, it happens to people where, you know, if you're a klutz or have friends who are clumsy as fuck, you know,
right.
It ends up breaking.
Yeah.
Or you introduce alcohol in the mix too, and
right.
You take it to a party, somebody will break it. Yeah, we were all young once. But if it ends up, if you do take care of your glass or your ceramic or whatever it is that you use to consume your products, Formula 420, you can't go wrong. And for those who don't know, and by this, you know, if you don't know, then now you know. Like I said, 2 parts alcohol, 1 part salt. Put that in a large, maybe gallon size Ziploc bag. Put your pipe in there. You shake it for a good while, and eventually the salt will end up scraping all of the residue inside and out. Maybe even getting a little pipe cleaner too would help as well. But what's so nice about this Formula 420 that I end up getting pretty much on the regular is that you don't have to wait that long. You don't have to shake it for so long. It pretty much just has to touch it for 15 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, I cleaned the bong before you got here for the dabs, hoping you would have a dab.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But are you gonna have one after the show?
I don't dab.
You don't dab.
I gotta catch a flight in the morning.
Okay, all right, yeah. You're busy.
I gotta wake up.
I get it.
Work.
It doesn't have to be a big old glob, but
Ask me again sometime in Christmas or New Year's.
no, we'll have a joint. We'll have a joint after this. Okay. But the 420, you just really, and it comes with it's probably salt. I don't know. I haven't tasted it. I don't want to eat it or consume it, but it looks like it's.
You said it was organic.
So I can only assume it's salt. Right?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't assume it's salt, like a sea salt.
No, I
like
wouldn't taste it.
Oh, yeah. Me
Yo.
either.
It's organic.
Okay.
I didn't say it was organic, did I?
It's like Play-Doh. You could eat Play-Doh a little bit.
We all eat Play-Doh.
Well, if you watch The Simpsons, you would know that it's okay to eat Play-Doh.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody ate it.
That's how Homer got on disability. So anyway, there's the 420. There's another brand called Orange Chronic. It works very much the same way. You know what is that? It's like that orange stuff that you buy at AutoZone.
I think
Gojo.
it's.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Gojo.
And it'll take all the grease off of your hands after working on the car for a day.
That's
Same
so
idea
amazing.
with this one. There's grunge off. It's I guess it's just it's a variation of what the 420 cleaner is. There's Resonate. There's this one that I checked out on Amazon that I may purchase. It's called Kryptonite, or Clear Kryptonite Glass Cleaner, and it's like a sludge. It's like the Nickelodeon sludge that they would pour on people back in the day. Slime, yeah. So it would kind of like coat your bong, and the reasoning behind why that's cool is so that you don't have to pour like a fluid liquid in there and then just shake the shit out of it, because I have been victim of losing a grip on it as I shake it, and then it flies across the room and breaks. So I'm sure I'm not the only one.
You gotta watch how you
I'm not
shake
the
it,
only.
bro.
Well, I'm unwieldy
Keep it under
sometimes there,
control.
Ollie. But no more shaking or scratching. Clear Klein eliminates the need to recklessly shake your delicate glass or ceramic pieces with abrasive material.
How often do you clean your gear?
As soon as the ring around where the water is, as soon as it gets like really kind of aggressively dark, I'm like, I have no choice but to, because it gets grimy and it gets gross. Unlike you, who would just you would just hope that they break right before you even have to clean them. Is that where you're at?
Basically, yeah. They're $5, bro.
At a certain point, do you look at it on the table like this relationship is over, and then you just knock it off? You just sabotage the whole thing.
This relationship is over. I'm done with you.
Yeah. And that's how you take care of that. But the next thing I wanted to talk about, and by the way, the message here is clean your bong, because if you don't, you get fungus.
That was my other question I want to ask you. Like, why? Like, what do you see as the benefits
of cleaning your bong?
Having a clean, yeah.
Well, you got microbes in there floating about.
Well, I see but that's just the water, right? Or are you saying it gets stuck in there?
It gets stuck in it. Well, it hitches a ride on the vapor coming up or the smoke coming up into your lungs. That's why also one thing that I'll repeat here that has nothing to do with bong cleaners, but since we're on that kind of subject, I follow Rock and Roll, RAWK and Roll. It's Josh. He's the founder of Raw Papers, and he always puts on these on his Instagram page. He'll put on these little videos, how-tos, informatives, things like that. He was telling everybody that how they make those bongs, and some of these bongs in the spout, they have it's kind of like a tripod there, and they put it there so that people can put ice on the bong's mouthpiece. He says that that's a terrible idea, specifically with ice out of your refrigerator where it's exposed to elements and stuff like that. Any ice, because it can have microbes in there that would then, although it does feel nice going into your lungs, those microbes are now in your lungs. It could be traces of fungus, microbes, other little things that may end up damaging your lungs in the long run. Yeah, but your stomach acid would take care of that rather than your lungs not having any other type of protection. And so now you can infect your lungs. You can pretty much get onset pneumonia from doing something like that, or some kind of bronchitis. You'll get some kind of infection that's lung related, and that's not what you want, specifically in these times with COVID. Yeah.
There you go.
Be careful with all that. So at the very least, switch off your bong water at least once a day. At a certain point, if that ring gets a little ugly, they recommend once a week, but come on. Once a month is probably a little bit more realistic for a lot of people. Also. Yeah, they're also trying to sell. Yeah, Big Bong Cleaner is out to get us.
Hey, you gotta have
those lobbies. Those bong
out.
cleaner lobbies are infiltrating Washington D.C. like no other right now, man.
Clean your bongs, fight off COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep your body clean. And so the other thing I wanted to talk about was that there's a little bit of a warning. This is an article that I found on High Times magazine. Lovers of pre-rolls and stuff your own cones, beware. An international shortage of cones is imminent, according to several paper and cone manufacturers and supply chain managers. According to Alan Nguyen, CEO of supply chain management platform MainStem, the majority of the world's cones, regardless of what company ends up sticking their labels on them, are assembled by hand in less than 10 factories in Indonesia. The rest are handmade in India for the most part, with just a few exceptions. Rolling papers in general are mainly produced in factories in Europe, India, and China, which the majority coming from European countries like Spain, France, Czech Republic, and other continental nations. I know that raw papers themselves get manufactured in Spain. He makes a lot of his videos out of that warehouse, and he talks about how it's in Spain and his whole staff, they're all Spanish. Regardless of where the cones are produced, though, Nguyen explained that a crucial aspect of their manufacturing process, the actual construction of the cones, relies on human labor. The actual rolling paper production process is pretty automated, and there are currently no wrinkles in that corner of the supply chain, but cones require careful assembly to preserve the shape and structure without wrinkles, tears, or creases while the paper is rolled and glued. The process simply hasn't been able to be automated yet. So when COVID started, now that we're in the COVID era, this means that in Indonesia specifically, there have been factory closures and work stoppages since the beginning of the pandemic. This has led to a backlog in production and order fulfillment at a time when demand for cones has rapidly increased. Add that to global shipping slowdown, and cones intended for weed stuffing have become the latest casualty of the current supply chain meltdown.
Curse you, COVID.
Yeah. There you
All I want to do is smoke some weed.
Yeah. Now you can be saying, well, why are cones so special? Well, it's physics. Cones slow down the smoking, like you being able to enjoy the entire joint. If something is shaped like a cigarette, where it's just a cylinder, it finishes faster. It literally is bottlenecking the process. So if you have a cone and you light it at the end, it's bottlenecking everything, so it doesn't burn as quickly as it gets closer to the filter. So that's why cones are more efficient. It can save you in the long run, especially if you pass it along. If you have a circle and you pass along a joint, it's much better to have a cone because it'll last a little bit longer.
You know what? It's there's nothing better than finding a good pre-roll. Mm-hmm. And they don't last.
No.
But when you find them and you get a good amount, there's nothing better because they're ready to go. Yeah. And it's the best way to smoke.
Now,
in my opinion.
One thing that I recommend that everybody do, and I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I can swear by it. I've learned a lot by this guy Josh, the CEO of Raw Papers. He teaches, if you don't have him right now on your Instagram, just add him.
Have him on the show.
Shit, that'd be nice. He's such an animated guy too. It'd be awesome to have him on. Yeah, I'd love to. This guy hangs out with everybody and anybody, so yeah.
All right.
Now, this guy has taught me that. Do you know about the concept of popping the top? Pop the top of your joint before you smoke it?
No, or maybe I do it and I just don't know the name. Yeah.
So the way I roll my joints, I leave that little kind of like that tail at the end. Right. I spin it and I leave that little tail at the end. But you should also compress, not only is that tail coming out, but it should be coming off of a flat surface. So, compress the sides so it creates almost like a perfect circle with the little tail coming out the middle. So you're supposed to get your lighter and burn the edges of that circle. And that's the business end of the lighting end of your joint. When you've pretty much burned the ends of that circle, you use the tail and you pop it off. You pop off that top. That's the same concept if you enjoy a good cigar every now and again. That's why they use that cutter, so that there's an even distribution of fire going through and it doesn't canoe at any sides of the joint. That's one of the worst things that you can experience, especially with one of those pre-rolls that end up being pretty shitty because they canoe. If you pop the top, there's less of a chance that it will canoe that way and ruin your joint. What's probably been one of the worst canoeing that you've ever experienced with one of these things?
I'm not sure.
You know what canoeing is?
No.
Canoeing is when only one side of the joint is burning.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I've had one.
You gotta start spinning them and stuff.
You gotta start, or putting saliva on it, and then burning them. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It ruins the experience of being able to enjoy a pre-roll. So at the very least, if a specific type of pre-roll, but you still bought it because of the price, but you still want to minimize the effects of it canoeing, you want to pop the top.
Okay.
Yeah, at least make that. Then I'll show you after this when we enjoy that joint, where just burn the sides. Create that flat surface. Burn the sides. Pop the top. Light it. There's an even distribution of fire going throughout, and it will not ruin your joint enjoying experience.
Dang. All right. Never heard of that before.
Yeah, that's been my TED Talk for today.
And I've been your host.
Josie. All right, well, that's going to do it for today's joint report. Everybody stick around for the music highlights. Here we go.
Smoke weed every day. I said a hip. I wanna rock.
The music highlights is brought to us by Are We Hair Yet? The #1 hair transplant service around.
Are we here yet?
Yeah. You got a problem? Anyway, the first song I wanted to play, in fact, I wanted to play some songs from bands that are still making great music, but have been around for a while. First up, I wanted to play something from Verve Pipe. Now, they were like a one-hit wonder back in the 90s. They played that song, Freshman. Mm-hmm. So they had that. It's hard to explain, sort of, but they were kind of this chill alternative rock band that was coming up, with when Pearl Jam was at the height of their powers back in the early 90s. And you had a lot of bands with singers who would kind of sing low, kind of like that Eddie Vedder grungy drawl that they had.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What do I mean? How else would I explain
Give me
that?
an example.
Like, yeah, like that. Like, hey, I owe you. Shit like that. Anyway, Verve Pipe had that song Freshman. It was very much kind of that style that they were getting towards. But they have new music. They have this new song that came out recently this year called Forever Reaching. So the Verve Pipe, out of their new album Threads, the song is called Forever Reaching. Check this out. Yeah, and every time I listen to or any kind of mention has Bruce Springsteen involved in it, I always think of the Ralph Garman bit that he did on Kevin and Bean. It was one of the best and most funniest things in the history of fucking radio. Did you listen to Kevin and Bean every now and then?
Yeah.
So you're familiar with Kevin and Bean and Ralph, and he did the Showbiz beat. Kevin and Bean's it was a radio show in Los Angeles for almost 30 years. And Ralph Garman, he's probably what allowed them to succeed for so many years because he was with them for 17 years. And he did this bit. Every time that Bruce Springsteen was in the news, he would call in. They would call Bruce Springsteen to talk about something. And it was just Ralph doing the Bruce Springsteen voice. And at a certain point in the story, whatever story that Bruce Springsteen was telling them while he was talking to Kevin and Bean, it would just take this dark fucking turn. Because you would never, the real Bruce Springsteen would never do anything like this, but like he'd be like, yeah, and then I had to help him bury the body. and he would go in like this graphic fucking detail, and I would be floored every single time. And it was always, and then in the back, when he started telling the story, it would play like a riff of one of his songs, just repeating in the background as he told this dark story. It was probably one of my most favorite things. I'm sure you can find some of these clips on YouTube, or if you go to the Kevin and Bean archive, you can look for something like that and do a search. I forget his last name, but the dude's name is also Kevin. He's the one who is the curator for everything Kevin and Bean, and you can find those bits in there. Oh, cool. If you're lucky enough to actually search for it and find it, dude, those things are freaking gold. Comedy gold, man. And dude, you need to check that shit out. It's so funny. That's why I love that morning show so much. But man, those are the songs I had picked out for today. And that's the show. So Ollie, thanks for being on the fucking show, dude.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Always
Thank
fun
you.
times.
Yeah, especially in kind of last minute because I asked you if you wanted to come over yesterday, and you're like, I ain't doing anything. But it's funny because it's been a long time coming. We wanted to have you on before we went to Hawaii. That didn't happen because we were afraid you were going to give us COVID, despite the fact that I play shows like every weekend. So
God.
I'm if anything arguably more as busy as you when it comes to interacting with humans.
Right.
And you're probably messed up. Right?
Yeah, I mean, look, it happened. It happened fast. My phone's going off.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
But yeah, no, I'm happy to be back for sure. It's been it's exciting to always come in here and chop it up with you, and just all these goofy ass stories.
Nice.
But yeah, no. So thank you for having me on, and I forgot where I was going with that. But
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't think anybody was expecting a whole lot. Next week, we have Josh. Josh is supposed to be back next week on the show.
Awesome.
And we're supposed to have Caesar and Sandra here as well. So that's going to be interesting. Yes, the Florence Gump.
It's the Florence Gump.
Florence Gump, because she's a lady.
But she's just got, an incredible life story.
I guess. I don't know. I haven't asked her yet. She hasn't been on the show.
Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's seen some shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm not saying she went to war and started up with a shrimp restaurant or anything.
At first, when you said that, I was thinking shrimp. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's bubble
I
gum.
was like, why is he tying this in with shrimp?
Somebody wants shrimp.
Yeah. It's a good trip there. They know what they're doing. But yeah, we're gonna talk to them, and it's gonna be I don't know. We'll see what kind of crazy stories we get out of that. I have really no agenda for it. But stick around for that. And I think we're slowly approaching Thanksgiving, and normally that's the season finale, and that's the rest of it. We might do some in December. No promises. We'll see what happens. But Steph, you got anything for us?
You know who I would like to see on as a guest? The Foo.
The Foo. Fuck that guy.
I hope he dies of the incurable condition of being a little bitch.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. He's reaching at straws for any excuse not to be on the show anymore.
Right?
It's fine.
The other day he texted us, hey, I was in your area. Oh, yeah? What for? Food.
No, I responded. I was like, "Were you low on meth?" He was checking out some of the Thai places around here.
Okay, he has got good Thai places.
Probably a couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We only go to the same one.
Yeah. The fast food one we have around the corner here. The bowl.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Not healthy though.
Yeah, but you're supporting small business.
Yeah.
There you go. That makes me feel better. All right. Well, this went longer than anticipated.
Oh shit.
No, that's not a bad thing. But it did. But anyway, all right. So check. All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Foo Bar Show. Remember to hit subscribe and be sure to rate, review, and tell a friend. You can always get in touch with us and get our swag at foobarshow.com. That's FOObarshow.com, and search FOO Bar Show on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out. Drop us a line and we'll fill it up like a couple of foos. I've been Josie.
I've been Steph.
And signing off for G-Baby, Ollie, Luna,
ALF Live Events.
WD!
I was holding that in for so long.